Welcome to another JavaEE tutorial. Since we covered basic setup of a JavaEE project in the last tutorial, today I'm going to show you how to run it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to open up your terminal. On Windows, this would be the command prompt, and on Linux or Mac OS X, this would be the terminal. So for those of you who are Mac OS X users, you'll see some line that looks like this, which is your terminal prompt. Now I'm going to go back to my IDE NetBeans for just a minute. Now each IDE does this differently, but I'll show you how NetBeans does it so you can maybe use that as a guide for how to find your project in the file system. So I'm going to go to Project Properties, and in this case it's Sources, and it says Project Folder. So I'm going to copy this line. And switch to the terminal. Then I'm going to issue the command cd, meaning change directory. And then I'm going to put a quote, paste, and an end quote. And now I'm in the directory. So if I issue the command pwd, means print working directory. That means show me where I'm at in my file system. Now it should show the line for the project. I'm going to briefly do kind of what I would have to do if I was on Windows. So Windows actually does the same type of thing. You would also issue CD, but on Windows, if you need to change directory to a drive that's not your C drive, like let's say you had your project stored on drive D or drive E or something else like that, you would type the command cd /D, which means let me change drives basically, and then you would give the path. So on Windows that would look something along the lines of D, my projects, project 1 or something like that. And obviously on Windows you use \. So just to get some basic commands out of the way that you would use on Windows. So the rest of this should be operating system agnostic. It should work on Windows just the same way that it does on Linux or Mac OS X. So we're going to be actually invoking Maven in this tutorial. So you don't actually use the command Maven. It's a little confusing. You issue the command mvn, and then in this case we're going to want to do a clean, which is to say, in case there's any junk that got generated automatically by the IDE or by something I did before, clean it out, start fresh, but keep all my source code. So don't delete my source code, but do delete anything that you already generated for me. So maven clean, and then we're going to type Wildfly-Swarm : run, and hit enter. It's going to scan the project. It's going to check to see if there are any tests that it's supposed to run, and then it's going to actually set up the project. You'll probably see a bunch of stuff flashing by on the screen, like this installed fraction business. That's part of that automatic dependency management that I was telling you about. It'll sort of look at your code and go, gee, it looks like this person wants to use this feature, so let me just add it. Okay, you can see this line at the bottom that says, well, let's go back up here first. See, undertow HTTP listener default listening on, and this 0:0. This is actually an IPv6 IP address. So it's the equivalent of 0.0.0.0 in IPv4. And both of those addresses, if you see 0.0.0.0, don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just something else about the way your computer's set up. But they both mean the same thing, which is to say, just listen for traffic and allow me to make HTTP requests to this port 8080. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your web browser. And I open my web browser, which is Chrome. And then you're going to want to type http://localhost 8080 resources/ping. Okay, we just got this page in our browser. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this resources ping thing? We're going to cover that in the next tutorial, but just to let you know, there's already some code in our Maven project that we were given sort of for free. So if you got to this page, and this would be the same URL you would use on Windows, you don't need to change the URL, but if you got to this page, that means you ran Wildfly-Swarm correctly. So I'm going to switch back to the terminal now that I know it's running, and I'm going to hit Control-C, and it'll say shutdown requested, and then server shutdown has been requested via an OS signal. It'll say something like that. It may say something slightly different on Windows, but pressing Control-C in the command prompt will do the same thing. Alright, thanks for watching, and tune in next time to see an explanation of what's going on.